Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to my special podcast, Resilience in the Time of Coronavirus. I almost lost my voice. I've been talking since early morning. I wake up too early, just trying to reach out to people around the globe to learn about the resilience and also understand their experiences during the time of coronavirus. Today's guest is Yasmeen Dahbour, joining me from Abu Dhabi. Yasmeen is the co-founder and business development executive at Sprout Digital Agency, a company that provides digital marketing solutions to regional and international organizations around the Middle East. Yasmeen, good to have you in my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Wael. It's an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure. Yasmeen, as we were talking in the waiting room, you mentioned to me that it's been a week since you started working from home. And the experience is quite, odd in a way. So tell me about it, please.
So overall, the experience, I would say the word to describe it is interesting, because it's sort of like you're trying to keep your regular routine on the go. I mean, my routine in general, waking up in the morning, making myself a cup of coffee, that sort of stays the same. It's constant. I regroup in the morning, I organize my tasks for the day, and I just get to work. The only thing that does differ a lot is the environment that I'm in. Because you're bound to your daily distractions like Netflix or your phone, or that break that you want to take, that you feel more comfortable taking because you're at home. So I just learned to limit myself. I mean, that's key. The balance is key at the end of the day. So it's just limiting yourself to a certain number of breaks. Try to behave as much as you can the same way you'd behave in the office. It's easier said than done, but I mean, we're one step closer and we're getting there. And the last thing is, feel free to sort of move around in your environment. So 1 second I'm sitting on the couch, next second I'm sitting on the table, then I'm sitting on the floor, so I'm just moving around constantly, making myself feel comfortable. So overall, I'm coping, but it's interesting, because there's a lot of people out there. I mean, in Sprout, we're very used to a flexible environment. So we leave and we come as we please. However, for a lot of other employees, it's difficult to cope with such a situation, so I can only imagine what they're going through.
As you said, it all boils up to the mindset and, the mechanism that you would have according to what you think and how you're coping with the current situation as well. This is very good. But you, being a business development executive, how do you keep that sort of connection with your customers as well as your colleagues and network? You must be using some unusual ways right now. So what is it that you're doing?
I mean, in a nutshell, we like to touch base at least once a day. I mean, me and the team like to touch base at least once a day. We use Zoom. So it's like video conferencing. Before I was blocked in the UAE, but now with this whole COVID-19, they opened it up, which is great. And we communicate through Zoom as well. And I mean, we're not complaining so far, because it does give us the flexibility to sort of brainstorm as well, because in the nature of our work, we're doing branding, social media. Sometimes you have to share your thoughts on paper or on a whiteboard. And because we're remote working, that doesn't tend to happen. But Zoom sort of allows us to share screens. We can draw it out and sort of communicate with one another. So as from a business development perspective, dealing with our clients, from the beginning of time, Sprout operates on a family culture, whether it be internal or external. So whether it be, with each other as a team, or whether it be with our clients, we try to get as personal as possible, because at the end of the day, the customer-client relationship is everything. But keep in mind that this is as well a human being, and it's a person, and it's important to get to know them and, their likes and their dislikes, that's the key. Then that's the key of networking at the end of the day. So we usually we create WhatsApp groups. That's the way we operate. We create WhatsApp groups for each and every single one of our clients. And we have their logo on there, we communicate with them. That's our day-to-day our communication flow with them. And the only time we use email is just for strict social media schedules, or contracts and those legal stuff you can say, or approvals or feedback. That's when we'll use email. Before this COVID-19, I made it a rule, and the team as well we all collectively made this rule, that we have to touch base with our clients at least twice a month. One at the beginning of the month and one at the end of the month, just for them to hear your voice and see your face and sort of feel that comfort. Because over time, think of it like a friend of yours. If you go an entire month without speaking to a friend of yours, chances are you're probably going to forget the way they look. That's the chance. So it's really important that you do touch base with them. But with the whole COVID-19 situation, we either use video conferencing like Zoom, or we just give them like a call, like, hey, how are you doing? What's new? How are you coping with the whole COVID-19? Was there anything we could do to help? And so far it's been working pretty well, I must say.
Very good. I like where you
Yeah.
said that from the beginning you established a culture of, personal contact or a family kind of relationship. And I guess that enabled your company and yourself personally to keep that communication up and running regardless of the current crisis that we're going through,
Exactly.
which is very good.
Exactly.
And your customers, I mean, keeping that sort of awareness in place, being a digital marketing agency, being, in the heart of enabling businesses to grow, how do you keep them, motivated and encourage them to continue selling, continue marketing, and so on?
I mean, as a rule of thumb, you should never ever cut off your marketing budget. Only because this is the way your customers learn about you. This is the way this is the whole awareness of your brand is based on that. So whether there is a situation like COVID-19 or there is no situation whatsoever, your digital advertising spend should not change. And the reason why I say digital advertising is because traditional marketing sort of changed and people are not consuming that type of content the same way they're consuming it digitally. So overall, chances are during this time specifically with COVID-19, everyone's stuck at home. Everyone's on their phones. Everyone's watching YouTube. Everyone's on that go. So if you use this opportunity to sort of be relevant and pop up on their ads, pop up on their feeds, this is our USP. This is your USP at the end of the day. And this is where you can sell to your customers and have them consume your content. So I would say this is the main motivational aspect.
Yeah, it brings a lot of opportunity, that kind of
Yeah.
situation we're going through globally. And it takes a different kind of approach and a mindset of business that can really enable themselves more and more via the digital world. But on a personal level, giving your routine and giving everything you do, what else that keeps you going day to day?
Okay, so I mean, to be honest, it could be really depressing sitting at home, So I make sure that I'm always moving. I'm always keeping myself motivated by finding something to do. So the way as well that we operate is, like I mentioned before, we work on flexible hours. So our whole point is that you don't have to come into the office from 9 to 6 to feel productive. You can come in from 12 till 3, have your tasks done for the day, and you choose what to do with your time as long as your work is done. So what I realized is that works so well in the office, but then when you're at home, there's always that clash because it's like 3 hours and then it's like, what do I do with the rest of my day? So I'm utilizing this time. I'm keeping myself motivated by networking, getting to know people, learning about their businesses, even researching like trends and things that are going on, discussing this with others, whether it be my family or my friends over the phone, just having that, just sort of feeding your mind, I must say. Like, it's very important to continuously feed your mind during this time. And of course, I mean, keeping positive is sort of the scary one because, you're always wondering, are we going to be okay? Is this situation going to blow over? And the unknown is scary to some degree. So I'm trying to keep positive by just telling myself, Yasmeen, it's going to be fine. One day you're going to look at the situation and say, what an experience. And you are part of history, and just keep pushing forward, But it's still tricky. I still face a little bit of issues with it.
And Yasmeen, I'll quote what you said, feeding your mind. This is one thing. It's like, a magical recipe for people having to stay motivated, stay energized in such kind of situations. Well, Yasmeen, thank you
Exactly.
so much for joining me, and thanks for sharing your
Thank
insights.
you.
And I look forward to having you in my next broadcast as well.
Thank you so much, Wael. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Likewise.